It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this second day of the month of April 2022. Coming to you from in front of the Cafe Promenade on Adventure of the Seas. Today, folks, the second day of April is National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. You guys out there know what to do about it. I haven't seen any peanut. Oh, they got to have peanut butter on this ship. Of course they do. They make cookies and stuff. But I haven't seen any peanut butter and jelly yet. However, I may go in search of it. But it's National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. All right, cruise ships sailing today from North American ports. Manhattan, New York, you've got the Norwegian Epic. Baltimore, you've got Enchantment of the Seas. Charleston, South Carolina, you got Carnival Sunshine. You got the Acela Independence. Amelia Island, the American Star. Port Canaveral, Carnival Elation, Disney Fantasy, and the Carnival Mardi Gras. West Palm Beach, you've got Margaritaville at Sea. Port Everglades, you've got Celebrity Apex, Celebrity Reflection, Allure of the Seas, and Emerald Princess. In Miami, Symphony of the Seas, Disney Magic, MSC Seashore, Norwegian Joy, and the Carnival Horizon. Tampa, the Carnival Pride. Mobile, the Carnival Ecstasy. Galveston, the Carnival Vista. Los Angeles, you've got in Long Beach, you got the Carnival Panorama. And in San Pedro, Majestic Princess. Up in Seattle, the ACL American Spirit. We're located right now, folks, about halfway between Galveston and Costa Maya, Mexico. We'll be in there tomorrow morning, and then on Monday, we're back in Cozumel again for another visit there. I'm probably going to visit with Elizabeth on location again in Cozumel. However, we're not going to be going back to the No Name Bar this trip. Sorry, Alma. One, I'm still trying to recover from the last trip and wrecking the scooter. And by the way, folks, just to let you know a little bit about, I'm a little shaky still from that. I haven't been worth anything since that I wrecked the scooter. But anyway, we're probably going to meet up for a little lunch at one of the restaurants. I'm sure there'll be adult beverages involved down near the International Pier on Monday. Elizabeth does have an announcement to make now, as her future plans are all approved and ready to go now. So we'll be talking to her about that on Monday. All right, we got a few headlines today, which I'll get to eventually. The Volendam To House Refugees in the Netherlands. No real updates on either the Escape or the Dawn. Celebrity releases transatlantic travel protocols. AMTRAK'S new Acela Express trains are delayed. And CroisiEurope, remember we interviewed them a long time ago? They're resuming safari cruises in South Africa. That and a lot much more here at 11 o'clock this morning. If you're listening today via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or anywhere you get podcasts like Podchaser, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, all the biggies. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and voila, up pops the fat travel guy. By the way, if you are listening to the podcast and I show some video clips or pictures, as I often do, feel free to jump over on the video feed. There's always a link to that in the description of the podcast. A bit of explanation, folks. Since today is Saturday, and I normally don't do a live show on Saturday unless it's something special. Yesterday, with me getting off the ship and back on, I had trouble with the downloads. As a result, John did not have the full show loaded up for him just to go through it simply. There was confusion between John and me on what I needed John to do. And it hit at the same time that my computer was going dead because I was by then off the ship and I couldn't get the information to him. And then they were just totally out of sorts on doing the whole situation yesterday with customs and getting back on board. It ended up taking us a couple hours and then some on a job that should have taken like 15 minutes. And when I was in Port Canaveral, as angry as I was at the Port Canaveral port folks, when we did the same thing over there, I mean, it was 5 minutes to walk off the ship for me to ride off the ship. 7 seconds to do the check-in and 5 minutes to walk back on. So 10 minutes and 7 seconds, you were done. And yesterday took, from the time I met at 9 o'clock in the morning until 12:30 before I was actually back on the ship again. That was just ridiculous. But anyway, so the show got all screwed up yesterday. Then I came back and did a unexpected show just to cover the news yesterday because John did not get the news that I had sent, the script that I had sent. So it was just all screwed up. So anyway, I decided, well, this morning I'll just do another live stream today just to make up for yesterday. I am also going to make a podcast today as well, even though normally on Saturdays we don't have the podcast. All right, I'll be back with today's news after a word from one of the network sponsors. On with the network, the news for the day. Holland America's Volendam will be used to accommodate Ukrainian refugees as part of an agreement announced by Netherlands and City of Rotterdam government officials yesterday. The ship will dock in Rotterdam for 3 months to provide a temporary home for approximately 1,500 Ukrainians, part of the larger commitment of the Netherlands to accommodate 50,000 people who fled the war in their homeland. Under the agreement to charter Volendam, Holland America would provide 3 hot meals a day, private stateroom accommodations, housekeeping services, use of public spaces, fitness facilities, internet access, and other necessities. Volendam will be staffed with approximately 650 crew members. It was scheduled to return to service May 15th with voyages from Rotterdam to Norway, the British Isles, and Iceland. To accommodate the 3-month commitment, Holland America will cancel 3 of those voyages and resume service on July the 3rd instead. Guests on the canceled cruises are being notified today and will be accommodated on similar itineraries. Norwegian's being totally quiet at this point on updates to both the Escape and the Dawn. We know that this weekend's sailing of the Escape has been canceled. We still do not know about next week, one way or the other. I was in touch with Norwegian early this morning trying to get an update on the Escape because Hot Air Tom is supposed to be on it. I think it's next week he's supposed to be on it, isn't he? On the 9th. But anyway, they're being mum on that. They're also being mum on the Norwegian Dawn. Some of you weren't familiar with the Norwegian Dawn. It was in Rotan, Honduras. Had experienced some engine problems. They overnighted in Rotan and apparently were trying to do some repairs there. Decided to skip at least one port of call and head directly back to Tampa at reduced speeds, thinking they would be back possibly on schedule. Now, I still don't know if they are going to sail on schedule or if they're going to have further repairs. And again, for whatever reason, Norwegian is being mum on that one too. So no word from Norwegian on either the Escape or the Dawn as far as updates as of this morning. Going on transatlantic voyages requires a little more organization than what guests have been used to. This became clear as Celebrity Cruises released a special health travel requirement for 5 transatlantic voyages from the United States to Europe. Now, the cruises that are affected are the April 8th Celebrity Silhouette from Fort Lauderdale to Southampton, April 18th Celebrity Constellation from Tampa to Barcelona, April 8th the Celebrity Reflection from Fort Lauderdale to Rome. That's Civitavecchia, by the way, folks. I just like to say that. April 22nd, the Celebrity Edge from Fort Lauderdale to Civitavecchia. And the April 30th Celebrity Apex from Fort Lauderdale to Amsterdam. Guests that sail on itinerary with ports of call in Spain, Italy, the Netherlands, and Bermuda will need to do the following. Spain, all guests ages 12 and up must complete a health form and receive a QR code to travel. Remember the QR code that Nanook of the North John had to do when he was over there in Germany earlier this year? Same QR code, folks. It's still being used widely in Europe. Italy, all guests ages 6 years and older must complete a health form. The Netherlands, guests ages 12 and up must complete a health form. The Bermuda, fill out a Bermuda travel authorization entry before arriving. That's everybody. All guests must be fully vaccinated and booster shots are highly recommended. Guests who do not yet have their booster shots and those that have received their final vaccine more than 270 days before sailing could be required to undergo additional testing while on board at $42 per test. This will be the case, for example, if guests debark the vessel in the Netherlands, Spain, or Italy. Guests must present a negative test at least 2 days before sailing. However, if they have a port of call or voyage ending in Spain, Italy, or the Netherlands, the test must be taken 24 hours before sailing. There will be test facilities available in the departure ports for international guests. For U.S. guests flying back to the States, Celebrity Cruises will have the option of buying, an EMED test kit to satisfy the U.S. entry requirements. While on board, masks are not mandatory. However, guests would need to bring masks with them because, number one, regulations change. Destinations require masks to be worn while ashore. You got to be prepared for that, folks. There could also be destinations where leaving the ship will only be possible by joining a tour organized by Celebrity, as has been the standard in Europe since cruising returned. Whether these requirements will still be in place when the cruises depart remains to be seen. Many European countries have announced far-reaching relaxation of health measures in recent weeks. With some luck, cruises to Europe destinations will have included these relaxations. But there's no guarantee of that, folks. And remember, I've been saying all along since the restart, be prepared for a change in everything daily. It could happen. Yes, recently things have been changing to the betterment of all of us. That doesn't mean that it can't change in the opposite direction again. Just yesterday, I got some grumblings that Royal Caribbean is considering, at least on some of the ships, going back to indoor masking requirements. Hasn't been done yet, but there is some discussion of that in various places. So, it could be close to a year and a half before AMTRAK'S new state-of-the-art Acela Express trains begin service. That falls far short of the previous projections by the rail operator that the new trains would be serving the Northeast United States by 2021. The new timetable calls for trains to hit the tracks by the fall of 2023. So that's quite a bit of a delay. Word of the delay for the new trains came the same week that Amtrak publicly shared photos of the interior of upgraded trains to the public. Once deployed, the new trains would be upgrading onboard facilities, capacity increases of nearly 25% in Amtrak's critical Northeast Corridor, which runs from Boston to Washington, D.C. via the New York market. From April through December, CroisiEurope's Zimbabwe Dream joined sister vessel African Dream in operating safari cruises in Southern Africa, plus a new itinerary in South Africa. So those of you that may be interested in that as a bucket list, there's information out on it now. Congratulations to CroisiEurope to get that market going once again. That's it for the news this morning, folks. I'll jump over and see who's. Oh, there's some people in the chat room. So some people did make it here on a Saturday morning. Bonnie's with us. Check the kids menu. They always have PB&J sandwiches on the kids menu. You're right, Bonnie. And I not one of the things I do is look at the kids menu. I have to tell you, I'm going to tell you right up front, because I hope this works out, because it's going to be such a delightful little feature. I had a discussion with Nanook of the North John this morning on what kind of permissions I have to interview kids. And I'm talking about really young kids. There was a delightful little girl that just popped up to me at breakfast this morning, showing me her camera and telling me that how it could, she can take pictures underwater now. And she was just all bubbly and happy and everything. And I was sitting there thinking, that would be such a fun interview. She's like maybe 4 or 5 years old. She's really young. But she was just so bubbly and exuberant with her little camera that'll film underwater. I don't even know. It must be is there a kid's model GoPro now? That's what it looked like. Not even sure. But anyway, so I got to track down this little girl's mother and say, I'd like to interview your daughter. What's the chance of doing that? Budding young photographer. So anyway, maybe I need to check the kids menu and say, I'll give you a PB&J sandwich. Chillie should book a suite, then he could have the butler bring a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah, you could see me booking a suite. No, that ain't gonna happen. Hot Air says hi to Bonnie. Carol's here. Hi, Carol. Sad news for Caribbean Princess cruisers set to cruise Sunday. They received an email Friday that the cruise was canceled. Ship needs more dry dock time. Princess, I did not go specifically to Princess stuff this morning. I missed out on that one. Hot Air, once again, provides more news than I do. This is Raji. Nikki's still in the hospital waiting on an x-ray. All right, Roger, thank you so much for the update. I sent a message. I was hoping that you had Nikki's phone because I didn't want to disturb her, but I was getting really worried yesterday. Sorry that's been a little on the rough side and some complications, but I have faith that all will come out well on this one. So our love, Roger, to you and to Nikki. So Escape cruisers were upset getting the notice on Tuesday. What will my Tuesday be like? Yeah, I know that's, and I tried to I asked them directly this morning for updates, and they just absolutely are mum on any of the updates. And everybody's saying keeping Nikki in their prayers, absolutely. Didn't tighten Nikki's pacemaker leads tight enough. Well, that's not necessarily the case, but I mean, I know her lead, the lead came loose. We need to train John to spend more time with us. He seemed like he had a hot day to run. Actually, hot air, that was it wasn't my fault necessarily. It was a combination of everything. The signal was horrible. I couldn't get the segments on the news part of the show to upload to StreamYard, which is what I like to do. I like to break it down into about 3-minute segments, and then John just has to play the segment. And when that segment ends, he plays the next segment. And I put them right in line, so it's just going straight down the list. Because the two news segments weren't there, he didn't realize it and went to the next segment on the list, which was the intro again. And so then, and not knowing why that was there, which it wasn't, it was supposed to be the news show, then he played the outro. So it was partially my fault, but partially the fault of not being able to get it uploaded yesterday. And then when the whole time came that I had to go to the meeting to get off the ship at 9 o'clock, then I ended up losing power on the battery on the computer, and I didn't have the charger cords with me. I had no idea it was going to take a couple hours or more. So I couldn't recharge the computer on the fly. So it was just a combination of errors, not necessarily that he had a hot day to run to. Now, he might have a hot day to run to that I don't know about, but no, that was all part and parcel to the problems with the signal. Emily's with us on a Saturday morning. Hi, Emily. Caribbean Princess is one of my favorite ships, says Bonnie. I did see about the last minute cancel, but they're taking care of the passengers, 100% refund on future cruise credit. Hot Air says, hi, Amtrak Emily. Emily wants to know, did anybody have any April Fool's stuff yesterday? Got any walkie-talkies, Emily? I didn't realize the Caribbean Princess was in dry dock. Apparently needed more time in dry dock. I wonder, where are they doing a dry dock? I didn't know they were in dry dock either. I didn't see that on a schedule. 7 days to embarkation, says Hot Air. Caribbean Princess is an old ship, but a beautiful old ship, probably refurbishing everything. Dawn just had a broken water pipe to one engine. Sounds like a bad coolant hose in a car. People said it was needed just to be okay. The ship departed Roatan around midnight. Water was apparently too rough in Costa Maya on Friday. Anyway, for the ships to dock, breakaway had to skip the port. Yeah, that part of the world, the water was really rough after we sailed from Cozumel. What day was that? That was Wednesday. The water was really rough Wednesday night coming back across the Gulf. So Emily says I can hang for a bit, but I'm actually going to lunch. Very nice, Emily. Hot Air says I had to watch most of Friday's show on replay. Was on the phone with my PCC upgrading the August 23 Pearl back-to-back cruise to aft penthouse suites. Got the same suite for both cruises and Bermuda 7-day. Very nice. Make sure you got your paperwork done for Bermuda, and then a 7-day Canadian cruise. Too bad no Amtrak Acela to Richmond, no electrified track south of DC. Yeah, one of these days they're going to have to do that. I have a feeling. Kenneth's with us. Hi, Kenneth, up in Pennsylvania. Good morning from Ken and Robin. That's a hell of a correct, Kenneth and Toby. I hate autocorrect. I really do. Bonnie thanks everybody for prayers for her recovery. So to be sure to update your spreadsheet hot air. Emily says she's going to take Amtrak to Boston. I hope Amtrak gets those new Acela trains ready for my trip from New York to Baltimore on September 24th. The story is that DC Metro Rail trying to get its route to Dulles open. That has been delayed so many times. Allison has a new cruise page. Yeah, I saw that this morning. I went over and joined it. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, I may do a live stream later on today. Depends kind of on the weather. And this morning it was a little cool outside. The wind still got a bite to it. It's nice enough. I might go get in the hot tub to try to ease the pains from wrecking the scooter. I'm still really sore and really bruised, but we'll see. So anyway, that's going to wrap me up for today. Tomorrow, of course, at 2 o'clock will be the Cruise Amigos. With the three of us, hopefully all three of us will be in house this week. We'll see how that goes tomorrow. I never know about Martin. And then after that, Pete is going to do a show probably on the solo cruises that he's been doing. I normally sit in the back room and I'm there just in case he loses it and loses his signal, which I'll probably do for that, at least for part of it, because that's going to be pretty close since that starts at 4. That's going to be brushing up to the dinner hour here for me. So, and then hopefully I'll be at Costa Maya some tomorrow. I'm not sure what we'll have to see on that one now. I wasn't thinking about it. Cruise Amigos and Costa Maya at Port. That's it too. I don't know. I'll play that one by ear. There's a time difference. Still, I got to play with. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today, folks. So I'll see everybody tomorrow for Cruise Amigos. And then I'll be back Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time for Travel and Cruise Industry News. But for now, this is the old fat travel guy. Stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully we'll meet one of these days on the high seas. This is the old fat travel guy. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you'd like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you'd like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just as